it quite a bit. I've used it for things such as food prep, basic things, cutting string, tape, that kind of stuff. Cut a few boxes. That's about it. Haven't had a chance to take it camping yet or hiking, but I did do a little bit of whittling with it and whatnot. So I've used it, got a good feel for the knife, and thought I might as well throw up a little review on it. So without further ado, I'll introduce the knife. So here it's in a little slip case that I got. I got this quite a while ago. Some people hate them, some people like them. I like it just for protection and just so it helps keep the knife in my pocket. I also work in a hospital setting, so it's nice if it falls out of my pocket, people don't see that I have a knife right away. I kind of like to use my knife discreetly, just because you never know who's around you, and I don't want to cause a fuss where I don't need to. So each to their own, and for me, I like to just be subtle with my knife use. Just because I want to try to be a good diplomat with my knives. I don't want to scare people and things. I like to introduce people slowly and make sure they're comfortable with it. And everybody has their own way of dealing with things, and you choose your way. And that's mine anyway. So some people hate these, some people like them. I quite like them. So I use my slip joints in them when I carry them around. Alright, without enough talk on the knife purse. So then time to introduce the knife. So here we have the Great Eastern Cutlery Tidioute number 72 Lockback. So if you don't already know, Great Eastern Cutlery has 3 lines of knives. They have Tidioute, which is kind of their basic entry-level slip joint. They use 1095 steel, blade steel for the spring, as well as the blade. And they're kind of the no-frills knife. They use the more basic handle scales, more basic shields, and they don't have any of the nice frills that some of the higher-end ones that are part of the Northfield line. Northfield also has 1095 blade steel, but it also has more elegant or intricate shields and handle material. They have a couple here. I'll just show you a bit quickly. So here's a white owl from the Northfield line. You can see the nifty shield there, and also has snake wood, which is a hardwood from Africa. And then you can see the little pinch bolsters, as well as the indents and the indents there. So that's a little more fancy. And also the blades tend to have extra grinds on them and whatnot, long pulls, etc., etc. They're all a little bit different, but they tend to have just more little frills added on it, and you pay for that. So they tend to be a little bit more, probably 15-20% more than the Tidioute varieties. So if you want just the knife, go for a Tidioute. If you like kind of a little more fancy, a little different handle materials and whatnot, then you can try out a Northfield. So back to the knife of the day. So for the handle length, I think exactly 4 inches. The cutting edge is 3 inches, and a little under 3 inches, and the whole blade itself is just over 3. And the weight of the knife is 2.4 ounces. So it's a big knife, but it's not super heavy, so which is quite nice. This one has ebony wood scales, and you can pick your variety. There's quite a lot. So another thing about Great Eastern Cutlery is they do lines of knives, or where they make a whole bunch and then they don't make them for a while, and then they remake them again every couple of years. So this one here was just recently remade. Mine was made in 2012 in January, so it's fairly new. The earlier lines of this, the 72 and I believe the 73 and the Pioneer, which I think is the number 23, were really hard to open, so they were called nail breakers. This one's actually not bad at all. I can pinch it open easily. I'll close it. It closes quite easily, like most lockbacks. And as you can see, it is a lockback, which is kind of unique too for Great Eastern Cutlery. I think this is the only line that it has a lockback. So yeah, I actually quite enjoy it. I've always really liked Lockback. It's kind of the first knife I've used as a kid and stuff, so I'm kind of drawn to them, and it's kind of cool to have them in a traditional knife. Here's the sort of as a kid was my Grail knife. I actually never got one as a kid for whatever reason. It just never worked out. I know I didn't have a lot of money as a kid, so I always had to be gifted things. So I never got the true Buck 110, but here's one as a comparison. You can see it's a beast of a knife, and boy did I want one as a kid. My buddy had one and I was the most jealous ever. But I finally did get one later in life, and it's a nice knife, but it's a bit chunky for regular use. Great knife for camping and whatnot. I just like it for nostalgia reasons. But that's kind of the forefather of Lockbacks. And I think almost you can sort of see that there's a little bit of commonality between them, especially the handle shape. So maybe that's why I like this knife so much. What can I say about this knife? Fit and finish is quite good on this knife. A little bit of flaws here and there. Tiny little gaps between the liner and the spine, but nothing huge. The blade's fairly centered. You can push it to the center and it stays there. So if you push it to the side, it stays there too. So I don't know if that's a flaw to you, but doesn't bother me as long as it can be centered somehow. No, other than that, it's quite good. It has also a tiny little gap between the shield and the scale material. I'll show you the scale material a little more. So you can see it has quite a bit of character to it. And I think ebony's quite beautiful wood. It can be pure black, or it can have slight varieties. I think the pure black's more sought after, but I quite like the character of the lines, and I think it looks really neat. Yeah. So yeah, I think this is a great knife. It opens up really easy. It doesn't have a half stop. Some Lockbacks have a half stop, such as my Skagel here. See how it snaps kind of at the halfway point. So this guy doesn't have that, so it just opens up in one swoop. That's great snap, and it closes well, nice and loose. So yeah, I think this has been a really good knife. It has a great blade, quite wide, but it's fully flat ground and came razor sharp, and it still is sharp. I need to sharpen it again. I've been using it a lot, but yeah, it's been a great knife. And if you guys have any questions or whatnot on it, I'll be happy to answer them. I think I've answered most things. Gave you at least a basic intro to the knife and some pictures of it. So yeah, you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll try to get some more videos up of different things, more knives, some other gear that I've been using, backpacks, that kind of thing. Anyway, alright, you guys have a good one. Thanks, bye.